Hi everyone, my name is Chloe. I wasn't good at studying when I was in high school. My parents promised me to take me to Jamaica for a vacation if I became an excellent student. I started studying hard to succeed on every subject, except algebra. My algebra teacher, Mrs. Meryl Davis, wanted to help me, but nothing worked. When I got just another D for a test, I burst out crying. She felt sorry for me and agreed to teach me for free, but I had to visit her at her place. While she was busy doing the housework, she also taught me. I followed her everywhere and wrote down everything she said. Sometimes I helped her to wash the dishes. As I had very poor knowledge of algebra, we had to learn the materials for the previous years. It took a lot of time, and I was a regular visitor at her house. Her son came to visit her from time to time, too. He was weird in some way. I think he suffered from schizophrenia or other disease. Once, when Meryl and I were in a supermarket, and I was answering Meryl's questions on algebra, we met my parents. They were happy that I had made so much progress. One day, Meryl got sick and was hospitalized. I stayed at her house with her son because she begged me to do that. I cooked dinner for him and then helped him to go to bed. During the night, Nathan came to the room where I was sleeping and asked if he could sleep in the same room with me. He was afraid of darkness. I agreed. I told him stories to help him fall asleep. In the morning, Meryl asked me to buy some medicine for Nathan. I met my parents in the drugstore and they took me home. Nathan remained alone. Meryl called me that night and said that Nathan had a schizophrenic attack and he was taken to the psychiatric hospital. She also mentioned that my visits helped him feel better. Meryl and I visited Nathan at the hospital, and he was glad to see us. When he was discharged, we often spent time together studying algebra, doing housework. Nathan also helped around the house, which made Meryl very happy. Once we went to the supermarket together. I gave him a shopping list, and he bought everything in strict accordance with the list. Meryl was delighted to hear about that. One day, my parents met me at the supermarket and took me home. They said we were leaving for Jamaica. I reminded them that I still had bad marks for algebra. However, they laughed at me and said that they had planned to take me to Jamaica anyway. I sent a message about Jamaica to Meryl and went to the airport with my parents. I left my mobile phone at home. The beach, surf, sand, palm trees, and sun were absolutely perfect. Cocktails and fruit were delivered right out to deck chairs. I met a handsome guy, Andrew, and we had romantic relations. We went to the cinema, nightclubs. The most amazing week in my life passed quickly. Upon arrival home, I found over 100 missed calls and messages from Meryl. Something bad had happened. When Nathan knew about my Jamaica vacation, he had an attack and was hospitalized again. Doctors had to use some strong tranquilizers to calm him down. After seeing Nathan at the hospital, I cried the whole night. He lay on the bed and didn't recognize anyone. He only whispered my name. Doctor said we had to talk to him, so I read him fairy tales about elves, a beautiful princess, and a noble prince, and their happy marriage. A few days later, Nathan finally recognized me and was really happy to see me. We all had hope that he could recover. He called me a princess that day. Soon, Nathan was discharged. He returned home, helped his mother around the house and cleaned the yard, watered flowers in huge pots, but still there was something that troubled him. He often left us to go to his room and spent a lot of time with his smartphone. In a couple of days, we had to celebrate my birthday. Meryl cooked a lot of delicacies, but everything looked somehow romantic. Subdued lighting, candles, classical music. Finally, we all sat at the table. Nathan's tension was running too high. He wiped sweat from his forehead with a handkerchief again, and every 5 minutes he looked into his smartphone. Meryl also looked different, mysterious. Suddenly, I heard music, and with Nathan's gesture, a small elf entered the room with a little box in his hands. He handed the box to me. I was surprised and wondered what birthday gift they had prepared for me. Earphones? iPod? They knew I loved classical music. I opened the box to find another little box inside. I opened the little box and found a ring. What? That was an unexpected gift because they knew I didn't like jewelry very much, but I liked the ring, so I put it on. Nathan and Meryl looked at each other, and I saw smiles on their faces. Nathan came up to me and embraced me. He said he knew I would agree to be his wife. I was surprised. His wife? I was beginning to realize what had just happened. Nathan proposed to me. I put on his ring, and everyone thought I had said yes. I had a storm of emotions, thoughts, and feelings in my soul. I had never thought about Nathan as my husband, especially taking into account his disease, and what kind of future could we have together? Meryl had tears of happiness in her eyes. I recalled her telling me that she had cancer and that she was worried about Nathan, who would be alone in this world after her death. This is the story that has happened to me. Actually, this story has probably just begun, and I have no idea how it is going to end. I really don't know what to do.